Hey guys, Huz here bringing you another video and welcome to another patch note breakdown. And this one looks like a big patch, I'm saying right now. And I think, by the way, this is MSI's patch. So you can even see here, this one's a bit of a doozy. Yeah, so this is the first major tournament of the year. Again, I don't really follow pro play anymore, but obviously the game is still very much balanced in that direction. And yeah, when a big tournament's coming, they're going to do big updates. Which, yeah, there's a lot. So we might go through it a bit quick because I don't want this video to be like an hour long. But just to give you the little rundown of what's going on, here we go. And also just to say, this video will be uploaded as today's second video. If you appreciate the effort of me recording this, editing it, rendering it, making the thumbnail, everything in literally a couple of hours to get this out as today's second video, please do smash the like button on the video. It really goes a long way. If we could hit like 500 likes on the video, that would really help out. And comment what you think of the patch. So, this is obviously the overview that I like showing now. So you can see there's a lot of nerfs. So yes, Diana, Mundo, Garen, Gragas, Hecarim, Heimer, Jinx, Morg, Rumble, and Vlad. And yes, you'll notice that some of these champions were just buffed, and they're already being nerfed. And then the buffs, Kane, Kindred, Kog'Maw, Lulu, Set, Shen, Taric, Trundle, and the, to me, questionable buff, that is Xerath. Xerath, the buff looks a bit nuts, and I'm a big Xerath fan. He's one of my best champions, so I'd say expect me to play Xerath in the coming days. And then we've got new skins, Conqueror, because those are the MSI. Conqueror is the skin line for that tournament. And the world skins for DWG. They're winning worlds. Their skins are now coming out. We also have some item changes for Deadman's, Death's Dance, Moonstone again, Turbo Chem Tank, and Wit's End. So yes, a lot of changes here. The only thing I'll say, because like people are like, Heimer nerfs, what? Heimer has very low play rate and everything, and the only thing that I've seen of like, why do I think that they're nerfing Heimer? It's a preemptive nerf to make him not played in pro play. That's the only thing I've seen. They don't want Heimer in bot lane in pro play, because that would likely happen, and maybe Riot just don't like that, or I don't know, you know. You've got to question sometimes like what Riot are doing, like that Vladimir buff, everybody literally, even when we all saw it like on the PBE preview, we're thinking, that's dumb, that's stupid. Yet it still went through, and then the next patch he's getting a nerf. So, no idea what's going on with LoL balance, obviously, but here we go. Diana. So she has taken over the jungle recently, and yeah, already having nerf. So the base armor growth and health regen are being reduced, and the passive bonus attack speed reduced early. So she was getting 3.6 armor per level, it's now 3.1. So that will add up a little bit, making her feel a little bit squishy in the jungle, but she'll still probably be fine. And health regen also going down, so a little bit less regen per like jungle camp in between. But then this is the bigger one. So the bonus attack speed from a passive was 20% to 40% base per level. It's now 15 to 20. So a 5% nerf for the early game will hurt a jungle clear a little bit. But honestly, I would probably still see people playing her in jungle. These aren't insane nerfs. Like, I actually heard what they were planning was to reduce like her like actual percentage damage or something to the jungle monsters, but they haven't done that. So I think she could probably still be perfectly fine. It's not affecting her actual damage or anything like that. So Diana probably will still be meta, but obviously maybe just toned down a little. Mundo, for a champion that, you know, is literally around the corner from his brand new update, he's actually been a little bit problematic recently, which is quite funny. But because he just combines stupid amount of tankiness, healing that is arguably still a problem in League right now, and damage. Like Mundo's damage, you know, don't underestimate it. So what are they doing? They're reducing his armor per level, and they're also reducing his AD growth per level. So less tankiness with armor and less AD, less damage also with autos. So that's just a bit of a nerf. Nothing crazy though. That might be the last time we see Mundo in this current form before his update in patch notes. So yeah. Garen, W bonus resistances decreased, units kill cap increase. So the bonus resistances per stack is going down a little bit, but the bonus resistances units kill cap is going up as well to 150. So with efficient stacking of his W without requiring much in return, Garen's been able to have his beef and eat it too, We're pushing down his numbers, spiking his tankiness, so his power curve more smoothly after picking up a mythic item. So it's just kind of reducing like how tanky Garen can get in the early game. I still personally don't see Garen as a crazy problematic champion, but I do grant he does have more damage than they've used to because he obviously scales with attack speed now. But still, it's Garen. But they're just nerfing his tankiness a bit. Gragas, E base damage decreased later. I don't even know the last time I saw a Gragas. I think I was gonna have a Gragas mid either earlier today or yesterday, and the game dodged. Before that, I don't even know when I've seen Gragas, and he's getting a nerf. So Gragas is currently a triple threat in pro play. Well, there we go. I don't watch pro play, so I apparently just have no idea that Gragas is good right now, because no one plays him in solo queue, at least for me. So the body slam damage was 80, it's still 80, but it's basically being nerfed. So it was 280 at rank 5, 260 at rank 5. So 20 base damage nerf at max rank, and you'll feel the nerf from rank 2 onwards. 130 is what it used to be, it's now 125. So a tiny little nerf there, but I think that'll be fine. That might affect support more than anywhere else. Why? Because support isn't going to get as many items quicker, but they'll still like level and stuff, but yeah. Hecarim, a very problematic champion throughout this season. He's a beast of a jungler. Absolutely. Can take over games, and with the way that jungle is, one jungler strong, one jungler's weak, Hecarim just can be that jungler that just wins the game. So what are they doing? So they're reducing his base armor by 4. That will be a lot squishier in the early game, but increasing the growth, so you will get the armor back later into the game. The Q, the damage amplification used to get 5% per stack. It's now 2%, but plus 1% per 33 bonus AD. So again, reducing the early game strength of it, but probably being fine mid to late game. The W, they've removed healing from damage taken. Hecarim no longer heals 30% of damage taken by enemies within the area, and it's now, Hecarim now heals for 30% plus 1% per 40 bonus AD of the damage he deals to a target. This is halved to 15% plus the scaling for damage dealt by allies. Ooh, so this is no longer 4 people attack me and I'm healing for all this damage I'm being dealt. It's more, I have to do damage now to be healing. Or my W, if my teammates are on top of me, they do some damage too. My teammates are actively healing me as well from my W. So it still heals him, but it's a change. Less tanky, less like I'm just healing, tanking 5 people as Hecarim. That's why he could survive for so long. 5 people attacking him, all doing damage to him with his W. He was getting 30% of that amount of heat, like 30% of all the damage he took from 5 people with W up. He was healing that. That's a lot of healing. So that's now being changed. And I'd imagine it's the weird thing with that. It's arguably better in some instances, but also worse in others. So if you're a really fed Hecarim that you're now dealing 1 million damage, this is probably better because you're going to be out damaging your opponent's damage anyway, but you'll be healing for more. So this is kind of an interesting change. I think it's good because his healing when he was tanking 5 people was a little bit questionable. And then the E, the minimum base damage has gone down and the maximum base damage has gone down. So an E damage nerf as well. So, and by the way, quite a big one in max rank. So if you had a lot of movement speed, you could get up to 310 bonus damage of like Eing on somebody. Now, 220. So nearly 100 damage nerf if you're at maximum movement speed. That is quite a big nerf. Heimer. W, initial rocket damage decreased later. So Heimer is overperforming in top, mid, and bot lane in high levels of play. Again, I don't even know when I saw a Heimerdinger last. I really don't, but okay. The rocket damage is being nerfed a little bit, 20 damage at max rank, and then the maximum rocket damage is 306. It's now 270, so a 30 plus damage nerf at max rank. I really don't think Heimer needs a nerf, but okay, that's just weird to me. Jinx, one of the power AD carries right now. So her Q crit strike bug fix. So Fishbone splash damage crit bug fix. It was doing 200% and now it's doing 175% instead. Damage to the primary target was unchanged and has been at 175. Oh, okay. So it was doing too much crit damage, than it should have been. So it's now dealing the appropriate amount. Kane. Again, that kind of scary type of champion that, you know, if they go out of control with Kane, he is scary. Shadow Assassin Kane has been overshadowing his Darkin counterpart, so we're bringing that part of Kane out of the dark. So it's literally just for Red Kane's Q. The Darkin damage modifier used to be 55% of his total AD, it's now 65%, so 10% AD buff for the Q. That is quite considerable. Will it bring Red Kane over blue? In the meta of one-shot, I don't know. Maybe that's enough damage for the Red Kane to start one-shotting people, but, you know, it's burst meta. If it's burst meta, that's blue Kane, so no wonder blue Kane is more popular. Q for Kindred, cooldown decreased and damage increased later. So overall, a buff. 1 second buff, so it's coming off cooldown quicker. And the base damage starting at rank 2 is being buffed with a maximum of a 20 damage buff at rank 5. That's actually pretty good. Again, what did I literally just say? Burst meta. What is good against burst meta? Kindred. If you time your ultimate well, you could save your whole team from a burst meta. So Kindred has always been a higher rating jungle pick, but quite a scary one if the enemy knows what they're doing. Kog'Maw. Speaking about another enemy that is scary if the enemy team knows what they're doing, Q resistances reduction increased, E cooldown, E cost decreased. So the resistances for his Q, again, if you don't know, if he lands his Q, it burns away resistances from a champion. It was 20% at rank 1 and only 28% at rank 5. It's now 25% rank 1. A 5% resistance is more burn if you hit it at rank 1, and then up to 33%. So this is where Kog'Maw can shred people in mid to late game. If you're literally, that's a big tank, you're a Kog'Maw, you've got a Blade of the Ruin King, Kraken Slayer anyway, so you're taking health damage off, but then you're even getting rid of 33% of their armor and magic resist. That's where Kog'Maw can just like rip people apart. He's a very scary champion if he's actually good. He just sometimes can't literally survive lane phase. Or the game is over by the time he's good. And then the E, the cost of it is also going down considerably. 20 mana. That is actually quite nice for lane phase. And, you know, that will, by the way, both of these things will also help AP Kog'Maw for mid lane. I haven't seen an AP Kog'Maw in a long time, but this is a buff to both playstyles. Mid lane AP Kog'Maw and AD carry bot lane Kog'Maw. So overall buff for Kog'Maw, and the usual suspect lane partner for Kog'Maw, Lulu, is also getting buffs. So W cooldown decreased and ally cast bonus attack speed increased early, so giving her a little bit more lane presence with having a 1 second buff to her Q, so it's off cooldown 1 more second, and then the attack speed used to start at 20%. It's now 25% up to 35%, which is the same. So it's just an early game lane. So you're buffing Kog'Maw's early game a little bit, and you're buffing Whimsy's early game for Lulu. This is literally, it used to be known as one of the boosting lanes of League of Legends. You know, you as a really good player who's boosting someone, you'll play Kog'Maw. The person you're boosting is on Lulu. That's now better. Obviously, you know, it goes without saying, that's kind of moved on to Yuumi nowadays, but that's still going to be pretty good for Lulu, but yeah, we'll see. Morgana. Oh, this might be the thing that I was actually thinking of, not the Diana. So I actually played, spoilers, Morgana Jungle earlier today. It will still be uploaded, even though it will be a little bit out of date, but it is worth saying, yes, it was very strong. It's still going to be a thing. Like, the W damage obviously dealt double damage, 200% to jungle monsters. It's going down to 185%. So it's a 15% damage nerf to jungle monsters. It will just little bit weaken her jungle clear. It will still be perfectly fine. So jungle Morgana is actually very good. And would I consider it a cheese pick? Well, obviously no, because Riot is putting her into the jungle. You know, for me, the definition of cheese pick is if it's not really designed to go there. But Riot are now designing Morgana and buffing her and changing her scaling for the jungle. So it's not a cheese pick anymore. It's literally a jungler, which is weird. But yeah, and I played it earlier today and it was very strong. Rumble, passive overheat bonus on hit damage decreased. So yes, they did that change and they've already nerfed it from memory. So the overheat on hit damage used to be 10 to 50 with 30% ability scaling. It's now 5 to 40 with 25% ability power scaling. So yeah, just a little bit of a nerf to Rumble. I haven't played him yet. I actually wanted to, but he's already been nerfed. But he'll probably still be fine to play Rumble. He's a relatively skill-based champion, I'd say. Good knowledge-based champion, and hopefully we'll play him pretty soon. Set, a champion that, for me personally, has just gone to the side. You know, he was really strong, top lane. You know, I played him quite a lot. Then he moved to support. He kind of got nerfed out of top lane a bit, and then put in support, and then also played in mid to counter a lot of assassins a lot of the time. And then I haven't really seen a lot of him, but they are doing stuff to him. So they are buffing him. So his W damage ratio used to be 10% per 100 bonus AD. It's now 20% per 100 bonus AD, so doubling it. And then the R used to be 100% bonus AD, was scaling with his R. It's now 120%. So overall buffs are set, which is quite interesting because, like, it reduced the effectiveness. The last changes reduces effectiveness of his full tank builds. So yeah, he's back to doing bruiser builds, not tank builds, and they're just giving a bit more love to that. All right, so this is where, again, we've always kind of sometimes questioned what the hell is Riot doing. Buffs to Shen, I've got no idea what they're on. Like, Shen is perfectly fine right now, like literally perfectly fine. And this, to me, is one of the biggest evidences of, like, they nerfed Heimer, who is also not a problem. Who the hell plays Heimer? And they're buffing Shen. To me, this is pretty obvious that Riot is trying to force things for pro play. That they don't want Heimer in MSI, but they do want Shen. Because Shen is good. I played Shen a couple days ago on the main account. You guys watched the video. Felt fine. Felt pretty good. And they're buffing him. And, you know, if people say, oh, what about the, you know, what Riot go off the data? His win rate is a positive win rate. He has a pretty good pick rate still. He has a low ban rate. Like, there's no problems with Shen. I don't know. So, the R, they are buffing the R to also, oh my god, what? I knew they were buffing him, but I didn't know what they were doing. They're including, so, oh, look, they nerfed the base of it. So, like, oh, the maximum shield and minimum shield, the base of it's gone down. With the ability power ratio, why he has that, I don't know why, but he does. They're putting bonus health in the scaling as a tank that builds a lot of health. What? Like, his shield is going to be huge. Like, literally, 28% of bonus health at max shield. That's obviously if someone's low health, they'll get the maximum output from the shield. That's a lot, you know, in late game when Shen builds a lot of bonus health. Obviously, bonus health is the health he's getting from items. That's a lot. I have no idea why they're doing that. So again, why are they doing it? Shen's ult feels like more of a bubble than a shield, making it too unreliable for protecting squishy allies when they're caught out in late game. Well, that's not Shen's fault. That's the League of Legends burst meta that makes everything one-shot everything. That's not Shen. Oh, God, again, that's just so weird. Taric, so ladies and gentlemen, this is a good news. I remember seeing this a couple days ago and be like, oh, so that's good. So there are still, like, bad players, and I don't mean, do I mean to offend? I guess I mean to offend, because they are bad players, that still try to do the funnel ye tactic, that they just want to do it. It's a boosting strategy, it's terrible, and nobody likes it apart from these players. Riot hate it, the player base hate it. The only players that are like, oh, it's amazing, are the bad players that have to rely on a funnel strategy with Master Yi and Taric. They are changing the interaction, literally, just to get rid of this tactic. Like, you can see, they've updated the tether interaction just with Master Yi. No other champion, just with Master Yi. That's hilarious. Oh, God. So, the Q, by the way, has been buffed. So, that's just one thing. He is getting a little bit buff. So, if you're a normal Taric player that doesn't play with a Yi, this is a buff to you. But if you are someone with a Yi, so casting your ultimate, your E, or your W on Taric's linked ally that is not present on the map will no longer channel, show their VFX, or grant benefits respectively on them when they reappear through allies like Elisa's Repel or Master Yi's Alpha Strike. So what this means is when, let's say, Master Yi goes for a tower dive, which is the very easy, you know, Taric's with you in mid lane, you as a Master Yi come to tower dive your opponent, normally you'd let the Yi tank the tower, you pop the Taric ultimate, you use the Master Yi Q to reset the tower aggro, And then when he comes out of it, he doesn't have Taragrow, or you've got Taracle on him now. He literally doesn't have Taracle. When he uses his Q, it goes away. And the Dazzle, the E, the Stun, that disappears. The W, even, I guess, the Link, that gets reset. They really don't want the funnel strategy anymore. So that's just hilarious to me. So goodbye funnel strategy. All right, so Trundle. E slow increased early, so a buff to Trundle. You do have to be careful of Trundle, because Trundle is a stat check champion. He's in the same vein as Tryndamere, Jax, etc. Pretty basic champion that thunks. Like, he just auto attacks. So if you make a little bit too strong change for an auto-based champion, they could just take over, because, you know, they don't have to rely on an ability to kill everything. They literally just right-click. So you do have to be careful. Obviously, Trundle does have little things here or there. His Q-Chomp, his Pillar, and there are some skill to the Pillar, obviously, with positioning, but this is a Pillar of Ice slow percentage. So it is 20% of max rank, 60%. It's now 32% at rank 1. So a pretty decent buff that people will not be able to get away from him as easily in the early game. Because I think you don't even max it. I think you max Q, then W, then E. So that will actually help him quite a bit. By just getting 1 point in it, you're getting a lot more from that 1 point. Vladimir, so again, overpowered. No idea what Riot buffed him. I you know, genuinely would love to ask a Rioter, so why did you buff Vlad? Everybody knew he was fine, and then you just made him overpowered. No idea. So our last buff to Vlad, back into the role of scaling powerhouse. He was still that. Maybe a little bit too much, so we're partially pulling back on his strength. So they're not apparently nerfing it the whole way, but the Q cooldown was 9 seconds. It's still 9 seconds at rank 1. And then it was 7.75. It's now 7.9. And it was 4 seconds at max rank. It's now 4.6. He's still going to be strong, let's be honest. Like, Vlad, he's one of those champs that, like, you know, he didn't even need a buff last patch, but what it did, because some people like, oh, nobody played Vlad before that. It's very easy for the community in League to just kind of ignore some champs every now and then that are really strong. I can guarantee right now there are a couple champions in the game that there are some people going, oh, I hope nobody figures it out, that they're really strong, but nobody's playing them. Or, like, occasionally, like, oh, one tricks are playing it, or, like, people have worked it out that they're really strong. They'll play it for a little while, and what usually happens, they, like, say a challenger player works out, that champion's actually really good. They'll start playing it. Other challenger players see that, pro players see that in their solo queue games. It then spreads that, oh, then, you know, the people that pay attention to challenger, who, let's say, are master players start playing that strong pick, then diamond, then platinum. It works its way down, or pro play picks it up, and then a lot of people see it, and then people go, oh, damn, that was actually really, really strong. So it doesn't always take a buff or a nerf to do anything, or sometimes it's a little buff that makes it look a lot more than it actually was when the champion was already strong. There are definitely a few picks that are strong that are just under the radar. Maybe Vladimir was that, and then Riot buffed it for some reason. But yeah, a little bit of a nerf. Xerath. So I will say this to me looks a little bit scary. It does seem that they have maybe changed it a little bit. It does seem. So I love Xerath, one of my best champions when I'm playing well. I had a Xerath earlier today. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give spoilers, but he played very well, but his damage was nuts. And they're now buffing the damage of Xerath. So the reason why Xerath hasn't had a lot of love in this season isn't because Xerath is bad, it's meta. So Xerath is an artillery mage, when League of Legends at the moment is still very much healing orientated, that an AD carry can auto attack a couple times from being nearly dead, they can then be full health. What's the point in playing Xerath? Unless he can burst, there's no point. There's no point to be artillery with how much healing's in the game. That's why small tinfoil hat conspiracy, the new little mage, the Yordle that's coming out, they literally said she was an artillery mage. We're delaying her because we're now turning her into a normal mage. That, I think, is because Riot doesn't want to make an unpopular champ. Artillery mages are pointless right now. You have to be burst. And Xerath, with this buff, could just become burst. So it is actually a small nerf to the base damage in early game, but it will probably equal out because of the AP buff. So I think I saw this initially with a 90% ability power ratio. I think they've toned that down. But Xerath now has a 85% ability power ratio on his Q, his like main poke ability. That Xerath could easily get 500 ability power. So what, you're dealing 400 plus ability power bonus damage on top of the base. So at a max rank 5, and this is your maximum, you know, your max rank ability power, you're dealing 600-700 plus damage easily with your Q every, what is it, like 6 seconds-ish? That's a lot of damage, which is scary. And then also the W, the base damage of it is going up, and the enhanced base damage, which is the center, if you hit the center of the W, it's more damage. I think some people don't know that. It is also going up. So rank 1's the same, but rank 2, 8 damage. Rank 3, 16 damage. Rank 4, 25 damage. And maximum rank 33 bonus damage extra on top. Yeah, that's pretty good damage buffs to Xerath, and I will definitely play this champion pretty soon. So, hell yeah. Deadman, still having too much value, I guess. Lessening the health, but keeping the cost the same. So that's a pretty decent nerf. Attack damage of a Death Stance, +5. Armor is also going up. People aren't building the items, so they're just buffing it. Moonstone, you know, one of the items that are just, you know, the problematic combo of Moonstone and Staff. They are trying still to buff these items. This item, I think, has been in the patch for like the last 3 or 4 patches. It's crazy. So the heal of it is going up. So they nerfed it maybe a bit too much. Prowlers. Targets enemy exactly at the cursor. Looks for a target following order. Nearest champion within 50 units of the cursor. Nearest non-champion. So basically there's now a order. So you could accidentally, which I think I've done before, Prowler's Claw a minion when you actually meant to do a champion. So now it will prioritize champions wherever your cursor may be. So that's good. Sunfire is getting immolate bonus damage to monsters is increasing. So this is a buff to tank junglers that still buy Sunfire. So that is a buff. That's pretty good. Chem tank as well. Bonus movement speed is going down still. They are still nerfing this item. They just can't get it right. 60% bonus movement speed is what it was. It's now 40. And Wit's End, they're changing the build path to it, and they're also increasing the attack damage. So that's kind of cool. So Wit's End is always a niche, and again, it's a niche item. You build it specific instances. You're against, I don't know, your top lane playing Aurelia, and you're against a Gwen. Wit's End now is probably pretty good. Right, so in-game shop update, so there's that stuff. We got some Summoners rank 2 split. So Gwen looks to be the new icon and stuff for split 2. We got Clash, we got bug fixes, and we got upcoming skins. But there we go. That is a pretty big patch, actually. Again, because it's the MSI patch, pretty big one. And again, we're shuffling up the meta for pro play. It's not just shuffling up the meta, it's trying to stop the meta of, like, Heimerdinger. They're just trying to stop that champion because, I don't know, it's weird. So poor Heimer players for solo queue, I guess. But that is going to be it. If you guys enjoyed, please do throw a like on the video. I will get this edited right now, get it uploaded for you guys as the second video of the day. So when you wake up tomorrow and the new patch is here, if you've watched this video, you will be up to date about what's happening in League. Also, always worth mentioning, occasionally these patch notes can not show everything. Like a couple days into the patch, if Riot have buffed or nerfed something a bit too hard or, you know, not enough, they sometimes do hot fixes, and these hot fixes will show on here. They'll have like a new section that will be like hot fixes for this patch, just in case they can't wait another 2 weeks, because obviously we get a patch every 2 weeks. But that's going to be it. 11.9 done. Throw a like on it, please do, and comment down below what you think. If there's any champion that's still missing, again, personally, what do I think? There is still the problematic group of champions that I find a little bit too strong. I know people are, oh, Hazard's just got a personal thing against them. I just think they're strong. The AP champions, specifically like mid lane AP champs, melee ones, Kassadin, Echo, Katarina, Silas, now Gwen, I guess, they seem really strong. Like, they really do, at least for me. I don't know. But that's going to be, again, not beatable. I do beat them quite often, but they just seem strong. Very strong. It's weird to me that they seem so strong, but they don't get touched. That's what I'll say. But anyway, this is going to be it. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.